why is SCA implementation difficult for open banking? I personally don't think it is very difficult. In fact, I think it's very easy, because the standards that are required to conduct an open banking transaction are predefined in market, pre-existing in many, many implementations, and do not require any degree of adaptation or domain-specific change to be implemented for this particular purpose. The difficulty is that, so a lot of people will be familiar with using a strong authentication process where they use what we call a thin client to do an authentication. So they will have registered that client against a particular host of resources. And so the common ones are Microsoft Authenticator, Google Authenticator, Ping ID is one provided by a large vendor. And the application does absolutely nothing other than authenticate. The difficulty is that most of the banks in the UK decided that they were going to implement a strategy whereby authentication was baked into their principal mobile banking application. So a thick client. And the problem with that is that is obviously that which serves a very, very large number of their customers as their principal interface for accessing their account. So their risk appetite for change, and the number of sign-offs required, the amount of testing, the sort of sensitivity towards breakage is extremely high. So I think technically SCA implementation for open banking is quite simple. It's certainly very simple for accessing an application online, and when you implement an application on a device, there's a good degree of SDK support to enable it. The authentication methods that are in principal use now do not come from issuers or banks or technology companies. They come from the device providers themselves. So Face ID is developed by Apple. The Android equivalent is not developed by someone who puts an app on Android. It is part of the device, so you can leverage that for that purpose. When it comes to cards, it's a very different situation, because when you're thinking about open banking and access to your account, you're dealing with a single domain. So the access to an application or to a web service and the authentication process are intimately connected to one another, because it's all on the internet, as it were. The difficulty with cards is that you're now dealing with a physical asset that is not inherently connected to that domain. So it is a good degree more complex to implement. That is the fundamental answer to the question: why is it difficult to do?